Good morning, smell the coffee, and welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. Let me just paint you the picture what we're going to talk about. Once in a blue moon, a star is born. Some people call it talent. Some people call it generational talent. Some people look at Chido Obi-Martin. Why is he so special? I mean, is it too early to bring him to the first team? But we're going to use the analogy and thinking what Sir Alex Ferguson used to say. If you're good enough, you're old enough. What other players in 17 years old are currently stars? Let's start the show. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. And whatever you're drinking, drink your coffee right now. And wake up, stretch your arms and legs, and welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. Good morning. Chido Obi-Martin. I repeat, Chido Obi-Martin. Well, actually remove Martin because he prefers only now to be called Chido Obi. Who is Chido Obi-Martin? Nobody knew about him 1 year ago, but now everybody's talking about this wonder kid that came from the Arsenal Academy that we bought. And, you know, there was a twist last year because in the transfer window, Arsenal was furious that we actually snapped him up. And there is a reason why. Only playing 9 games for the under-18s and the 21s and scoring 12 goals and registering 2 hat-tricks. In this video I'm going to talk about, we're going to analyze everything. Is it too early for Chido Obi-Martin or Chido Obi to be integrated in the first team, and why Ruben Amorin has been secretly planning to introduce him? Let's dive right into the stories plus many more. Welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. This is Mick Ruby. Please do us a massive favor. Smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you never miss when we go live. Are you ready to get into the show? Let's do this.
And Garnacho!
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Will you be in the dugout at Old Trafford on Sunday? I will be here. Definitely.
Okay, let's go.
Good morning, people. How are you all doing this Friday? TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And of course, I haven't been live for a while because there's nothing been worthy to report about. But of course, we're going to report what's been reported out in the news. What's going on with Victor Gyökeres? Who is Manchester United signing? We just closed off a transfer window and we are seeing reports coming out from Laurie Whitwell, the PSR situation, the financial situation. And we're going to talk about the freaks of nature, the 17 years olds that are doing madness at the moment, and why, you know, you think or not think, or why Chido Obi-Martin, or call him Chido Obi. I'm just used to call him Obi. Maybe it's the Obi-Wan in the future. Is going to be integrated and fast track into the first team, while Ruben Amorin has been secretly training him and introducing him as a weapon. Who else is he looking at to integrate? Because we know that Ruben likes to bring out youth. He did that at Sporting Lisbon as well. He brought in about 17 youth players that made him successful. So what is the overall plan here? If we are struck by the PSR, will we then look at the under-18s and look at them like, you know, to see, hey, you could be good for the first team. You could be good for the first team, and we can save ourselves money. So anyway, but guys, big up for all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So this is the agenda, what we're going to talk about today. We are definitely going to look into, is Chido Obi-Martin ready for the first team football? I want to hear from you guys as well. Leave a comment. I started a poll. We're also going to look at the Osihmen and Quenda to United. Is those deals already pre-agreed in the January window? Because there's a lot of smokes coming out here, apparently around Quenda as well. And why is Quenda the preferred choice? And also Vardy and Calvert-Lewin BS, I call it BS links. That was kind of reported by Laurie Whitwell to say that due to the financial fair play and the PSR, United are looking at bringing in strikers that's out of contract. 38-year-old, you know, Calvert-Lewin. We also talked about, you know, 38-year-old Vardy, Jamie Vardy, washed up Vardy, yeah? They won 1 Premier League title, and Calvert-Lewin and Bueno and all that stuff, you know what I mean? It's just absolutely carnage. But also the latest blow, why Man United are not looking to sign Gyökeres as well. Like, apparently there is some issues as well, guys. So this is what we're going to talk about today. But most important thing, of course, the man of the hour, Chido Obi-Martin. Or what he said, remove Martin. I just want to be called Chido Obi. I just call him Obi-Wan because potentially that is the Danish dynamite. If you didn't know, he's actually Danish. And you can count on your fingers. We actually have 5 Danish, players in the squad at the moment. We are looking at Dorgo from Denmark, young Dorgo. We're looking at Rasmus Højlund, also young Danish. We're looking at Christian Eriksen, more the senior one, and also Obi-Martin is Danish. Did you know that he was Danish? Perhaps you didn't, but now you know. So, guys, this is what we're going to talk about today. And, of course, the brilliance of Obi-Martin in his debut. He came from the Arsenal Academy, and they screamed and fought, and they even tried to do a litigation to stop this transfer. Why? Obviously, why? Because when he was introduced, his first game under 18s, in 12 minutes, he scored, registered a hat-trick. And the other day as well, in the Chelsea versus Chelsea in the Youth FA Cup, scored another hat-trick. So that is basically scoring out of 9 games, 12 goals. That is a goal-scoring machine. So the question is, what I want to pose to you guys, do you think he's ready? Are you good enough? You old enough, according to Alex Ferguson? And why? Why are we looking to integrate him? And why has he been training behind the scenes, being prepared? I want to hear from you guys. So big up, good morning to you, and stretch your arms and legs, of course. I'm dying to hear from you. Let me dive into the morning chat as well. Good morning to you, Mr. Hughes. Dino, how are you doing? Whatever you're drinking, I'm having a double shot of espresso, of course. It's Friday. I'm super gassed. And Rasta Stocks is in the house. Say, yo, Mick, all the way from USA. You're coming in here already thinking about the game. And thank God, because there hasn't been a game of football. We haven't played since the weekend. And I'm so sick and tired of all this, everything that's been floating around Manchester United. It's been sort of dry hump day, and media is having a field day, having a dig at Ruben Amorin. We've seen that some ex-media pundits and social media personalities are suggesting to change his system, and players leaking out like, oh, boo-hoo, baha, like, we'd rather you, Ruben Amorin, accommodate us to play 4 in the back, 4-3-3 or whatever, blah, blah. All these stories has been gash, in my opinion. So, yes, I am definitely looking forward for Spurs over the weekend, and Spurs are a wounded animal. Half of the team squad is injured. So, would it be a walk in the park for us? Will we send, Angie Postecoglou to the sack? We should see, but it should be an open-ended game, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. I'm really looking forward for that one. My score prediction, if you ask me honesty, I go with the Ruby Classic, 3-1, and the man of the hour to be introduced and score 1 debut goal. Chido to score a goal if he starts. If you know, you know. That's what I believe, Rasta. You know what I mean? But I want to hear from you, Rasta. What do you think as well? Anyway, Noah is in the house. Big up, Mick and the legend. Big up to you, Noah. How are you doing? MXNS, I would start Obi-Martin. What you're saying. Guys, get involved in the poll as well. I like to read the comments in the morning. If you're commuting to work, if you live in UK, most of you are probably sitting there at your desks already. So keep it a little bit silent so you don't get fired, and blame it on MUFC Realist TV. You continue to say Osihmen is not that good of a player. Well, he is. He's better than we have. Beggars cannot be choosers, my friend. We're going to dive into who we link to there as well. And apparently, we're going to talk about Quende as well further down the track. So stay tuned. Chido is not ready. Yeah. In what way? Please explain, elaborate why you don't think he's ready, because that's what the community is all about. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Under 18 games and normal Prem games are different intensity, 100%. But my argument here would be, I'm jumping the gun here. He's outgrown the under 18s. He's outgrown the under 21s. He's 190 centimeters tall. Look at the size of the specimen of the kid. And then you got to go back to ability versus physicality as well, and what Sir Alex used to say, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So what is it to say? If you look at let's jump the gun here. Okay, if under 18 games, yeah. Well, let's start with this. How old is Giovanni Quenda? 17. He's playing first team football and ripping it up, right? How old is Yamal Yamil from Barcelona? 17, right? How old is, let's see, Diego Leon that we signed? 17, turning 18. So you see, these are what I said. Once in a blue moon, you get these freaks of nature, specimens. They are looking like, you know, gods, 27-year-olds in a 17-year-old body, right? So that's why I'm saying your ability, footballing ability, is better than your age. And of course, I agree to you to a certain extent. You should be nurtured, not sort of rushed in to the challenge straight away. It depends on how you get introduced to the first team. But apparently reports are saying that Man United have kind of prepared Chido Obi-Martin to be introduced in the latter stages of the Premier League. And you can understand why. You know, I personally wouldn't sort of say start Obi-Martin, in my opinion. But if you look at his stats, mate, you know, he is almost 190 centimeters tall. If you look at the under 18s and everyone around him, he's like a giant, right? The same with Diego Leon as well. What a freak of nature, right? Similar build, similar height. And the way he's kind of poaching the ball, he's your typical, you know, fox in the box striker. He's also fast, very technical, and I think that with proper coaching, proper nurturing, he can be embedded into the first team easily. Now, my humble opinion, when I sort of analyze everything, guys, is, you know, the Premier League season is over. Like, treat this remaining of the Premier League games, what we have 14 games left, as a long pre-season, right? Now you have time to look at the under 18s to 21. Basically, who is good enough, right? Who can I bring into the team? Because apparently the PSR rules that was supposed to change was backfired. So that's not going to take place until the next year. So Man United also having a squeaky bum time. That means that we need to sell a lot of players in order to generate the funds. And the links that came out the other day that we are not going for Gyökeres because of his age profile, 27. That's a little bit weird. And also excuses to say, to leak out to Laurie Whitwell from Athletic, to say that Victor Gyökeres most likely will want to have a Champions League football, but we haven't really got there. So we need to win Europa League in order to get to Champions League to have funds. But the way the PSR is looking right now is really dire. So I think the plan B is to look at the under 18s and 21 and kind of start embedding right now and have a long pre-season as well, and then go with youngsters. You know, that seems to be the plan, right? That's the way you can sort of save yourself money. You get 1 or 2 or 3 players in the summer window, more experienced players, and then you have a fresh juvenile squad. But if you look at the overarching, who can we actually bring in? There's a lot of talent at Man United that we can actually bring in. You know, if we add this to the stage, like peeps, if you go look at the under 18s, right? Let's see. Over is good as defender. A player that's been featured on the bench is Goodwill Kukunki, 100% a beast. He will definitely be fast-tracked. Then you look at midfielders. Who do we have here? Ibrahimov, of course. Jack Fletcher, one of the Fletcher twins as well. Scanlon, another one. Then you have Tyler Fletcher as well, you know. So these are midfielders that you can sort of integrate and have a fast track. In terms of forwards, of course, we've seen the likes of Biancheri. A little bit lightweight, need to bulk up a bit, but he's such a brilliant, like, you know, left-sided number 10. Great technical abilities, of course. And, of course, you have seen Chido Obi. So they removed Martin here. So if you look at the under 21s, my take a little bit of time to load. Let me have a look at the under 21s. Of course, we have Shea Lacey. We forgot Shea Lacey. Sorry, guys. But in terms of goalkeepers, Radek Vitek. Come on, he's doing a madness on loan as well, right? So we do have a fantastic academy, probably the best since class of 92. We just have to sort of look at it. Who can we sell? and who can we keep and who can make a difference. Again, utilizing the analogy, you're good enough, you're old enough, right? This is the future of Man United. This seems to be the plan of Ineos. And of course, if you sell players, these academy players is pure profit in FFP and PSR. That means you can actually go in the transfer window and do something magical. Look at the defenders. Ogoyene, we've seen him like feature in the bench. Rice Bennett, of course. Jack Kingdom, so-so. Fredrickson, I don't know much about. Seko Kone, of course, he's already playing under 21s as full for. Dan Gore is out on loan. I don't know what's going to happen with Dan Gore. I don't think that he's going to make it United. I think the United will sell him and generate some profit. Sam Mather as well. And what else do we have in terms of forward? Joe Hugill will definitely be sold, and Ethan Williams as well. So I would say that under 18s has better talent than under 21s. But I want to hear from you guys as well, guys. Let me know what you think. I think that this is the garden path, right? I think that this is. Let me catch up with what you guys saying. Dino is having a vanilla latte. Big up. Hope that tastes well. Boxing Straight UK. Ineos out. Mate, I do understand you. I do understand. Look, at the end of the day, if we're going to talk about that with the PSR, listen, it is so much limited things that Ineos can do. If you look at, they are not the owners of the club. They're bought in on 27%, so they are pretty much the janitors for Ineos, because Ineos appointed them like a contractor to fix up the financial mess, sacking additional 200 personnel around Old Trafford. It's shambolic, I know, but it's necessary means, because I did a video about it and everyone is talking about it, that United are facing bankruptcy if we don't fix up the finances. But on the other hand, I also look at the PSR, the FFP, because it seems like we are playing two different leagues at the moment. One is the Premier League by itself, and then is a race against the FFP PSR league, who is leading and who's losing at the moment. I think that they have to oversee the PSR a little bit more to be more lenient. But on the other hand, they need to sort of make it fair as well, because City is still looming around. City has not got the verdict. And PSR is there for, sustainability of finances. So it has to be something in place. But right now, it's squeaky bum time for most of the clubs, And if you look at Premier League, it is the richest league in the world, because everyone gets a piece of the cake from TV rights, XYZ. So that means that now we're seeing competitiveness, anyone can beat anyone. And that's why I love Premier League. That is why I think it's the best league in the world. And there will never be a Super League. What you guys are saying, Dino is going in on Obi-Martin to say that if promoted, should be used sparingly. Don't want him to be rushed into the starting 11. Yeah, 100%. He needs to be protected. We don't want to see the burnout of what we saw. Let's give us an example. Players that burned out. 100% has to be Kobe Mainoo. Burned out. It was too soon, too fast. Within 6 months, first team appearance, and then England caps and Euros. It's too fast, right? So apparently he looks a little bit lost. He looks a little bit tired. He trying to struggle to find his place. I think that he is a number 8, or potentially right side at number 10 in Ruben Amorin's system. Another one is Garnacho. We saw we utilized him too much, right? So that's what I said, guys. I think that utilize this season, remaining of the season, to utilize as a long springboard for a pre-season to the next season, meaning that you can integrate the talent that you have under 18s and 21s, and then you go in the summer market and sign a couple of key signings. Then you have the complement and the balance, right? But at the end of the day, that's just my thinking, and that I think that they're going to go that path. What you're saying, Luman is saying we have issues with the under 21s helping us. We don't want to help from over 31s, 100%. I guess you're talking about signing a Jamie Vardy 38. Doesn't really make sense, mate. In 20 and 30 on average. So what exactly do we want, Mick? Well, I just want to see a balanced approach. If we are now, according to the reports, broke, you got to be smart. You got to look at solutions, and that's what I've been saying. Like, you got to look at utilizing your academy products. Integrate them, and then utilize the money that you have, or potentially sell a few players. Like Rashford will definitely be going. You see that likes of Lindelof will be potentially going as well. Eriksen's out of contract, will be going. Casemiro, you need to push him out of the door, and that was sort of open up the budget to sign a couple of more players. But you got to have a mix of experienced players and youth players. You can't just go by Ineos only recruit under 24s and potentials. And there was also like, if we're going to talk about the striker targets, like, let's dive right into that, because I think that, in my opinion, I think that Chido Obi-Martin is ready. Yeah. But however, slowly, minutes by minutes. So if he's going to start, no, not yet. It's too early. Will he be on the bench against Spurs? Potentially. Will he get 10 minutes from, at the second half? Yeah, he could, right? So this is how we could start embedding them, like, throwing them in like, 10 minutes to play, 15 minutes to play, give them a few minutes, slowly. So that's the way I see it, guys. That is the way I see it. Let me see what Boxing Strength is saying here. Yeah, you will give him minutes. I hear you, mate. If you're good enough, you're old enough. 100% Boxing Strength. You're speaking my language here, and Sir Alex Ferguson's language. And basically, what you're saying here, George Vukovic, is even if Sir Alex Ferguson wants Ratcliffe out, Glazes out, Ineos out, 100%, mate. But we are stuck with this. And we can never stop talking about the Glazers on this channel, and we can never forget what they've done. Yeah, Glazers are the reasons why we are in the situations, and they're sticking around based on the land bank assets they own around Man United, and they're banking that the Greater Manchester Council will invest and build properties, malls, hotels. But that ain't going to happen until another 8 to 10 years. But if you look at the financial situation where we are now, this is kind of a little bit plus, because, Glazers are not allowed to take dividends out from the club. So they might be forcing the hand to actually go to the market and put the remaining of the club on auction, or, who will be the highest bidder to buy out the Class B shares. And lo and behold, like, Ineos have the first, or Trollus Limited, which is pretty much Ratcliffe has a refusal right. He has to sort of, it will be on $33 per share in Class B shares, but whoever bids in higher, he can say, yes, I will continue to bid, or he can also sell his shares. So that opens the door for other potential, state owned, or whatever you may call it. I don't care. Like, as long as you clear the debt, you know what I mean? There was a report also yesterday that came out that PSG are threatening to withdraw from PSG at the Qatari, the QSI, whatever, is threatening to withdraw from PSG totally, sell up the club. Does that mean that they open up a door for Qatari ownership? We don't know. But at the moment, it is what it is. And, I'm tired of speculating, but all I want to see is the club getting back to winning ways, right? If it's 2028, 2027, I just want to have a clear communication path from the club where we're heading at, right? Nobody's talking at the moment, hence why you're getting a lot of speculations from media. The report that came out from Laurie Whitwell was pretty much like a piece to say, well, listen, we are broke. The PSR, United most likely to go for Jamie Vardy, Bueno, Calvert-Lewin out of contract. Why the hell would you go for a 38-year-old, right? Make it make sense, right? That is against all the policies what they've been saying, right? Potentially, like, to get him in like a 1-year deal, like to do a Johnny Evans kind of thing, just to be mentored towards the young strikers. Potentially, that is the thinking behind it, but it doesn't really make sense, guys. You know what I mean? Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Yeah, big up to you, Stephanie Griffith. Good morning. Boxing Strength said, does anyone think that we will sign 3-4 players in the summer? Next season is going to be any different than this one? Well, here's what I think is going on, right? They are definitely looking at targets. If we're talking about Quenda, right? This is the prime target from Ruben Amorin. If Ruben Amorin had to choose between two Sporting Lisbon players that he managed, his preferred choice was Quenda, always. 17 years of age, fits the profile. And that it is, again, like, this is a freak of nature, 17-year-old that already is a first-team player and playing Champions League as well. You know what I mean? So we already signed a left wing back or right wing back in Patrick Dogo. What we're missing is the likes of profile to balance out the wing play is a Quenda, right? And then it's complete. Then we have, of course, a backup to Dogo is Diego Leon, and then I could see the likes of Dalot being the backup for Quenda, right? Dalot is going to struggle. Let's face it, like Dalot is not a wingback. He's a traditional defender. He got recruited in from Jose Mourinho to play a right-sided defender, and that was suited Jose Mourinho at that pragmatic style at that point of time. So defensively, Dalot is so-so. His mental awareness is not really there. He's got ball watching. Going forward, yes, he can do it, but I don't think he's that great. He's okay. So I wouldn't mind just to keep Diego Dalot around as a fringe player, but also if we need to sell players, I'd definitely go out there and cash in on Diego Dalot, like 40, 50 million, whatever we can get. That's my opinion, guys. Anyway, I want to hear from you. Yeah, we have suggestions here. Fletcher, Scanlon, Sekokone, 100%. Definitely, these are players that are great as well. I agree with you. Under 21 players, Sekokone is good for the midfield, 100%. 100%. And he is a proper number 6. So then all of a sudden you have 3 number 6s. You have the likes of Sekokone, the likes of Ugarte, and the likes of Collier. 100%. And we're good to go. Yeah, Sekokone definitely will be integrated. And that's been numerous reports to say that the ones that are going to be integrated right now, we can see Sekokone was mentioned, and also Chido Obi-Wan, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we used to sell peanuts, George, for players for peanuts, but this is a total different regime now. I find the PSR rules needs to change because it's becoming that players, the academy players, becomes like products, like they've been sacrificed. It's like a Norwegian salmon farm. Like we plant the seed and we sell them as a fresh meat, fresh pink meat for expensive, and that's sad. But not everyone's going to make it to the first team. So yeah, the academy is kind of like a feeder farm, right? You know what I mean? So it's a little bit sad for the youngsters, right? Good morning, Dennis. How are you doing? Mick, what the hell are the Glazers doing? I think we would be better off relegated in Super League. We'll be here in a couple of years. Ineos are in trouble themselves. You're right, mate. But I never wanted to see us relegated, right? And even if we are relegated, Dennis, the bastards will still cling around, hoping that the Greater Manchester Council will build new stadiums, and actually we will get sponsorship for the stadium, but the stadium is not going to happen until 3032 apparently. The development around the Greater Manchester area, which the Glazers own the land bank, they're just hoping that somebody will build on it. They will profit massively, right? So the only way I see it, mate, is a hostile takeover, right? I don't believe that I don't believe that Ratcliffe and Ineos, they're not mugs, they're shrewd billionaires, right? I think they knew what they were doing, of course. They went in with a bid on 60%, lowered down to 51%, and got it down to 27% because they knew that, the Glazers were strapped for cash. So basically it was a quick fix loan, right? They gave Glazers 2 million that went into their own pockets. But if I was Ineos, I would say, okay, at least on one condition, I give you 2 billion fast loan, right? Because we're going to handle the footballing operation. At least take that 500 million as an obligation to put it back into service the debt. And we wouldn't be in this situation. But here we are, peeps. Here we are. And I think that Glazers took that bid because they needed money fast and they couldn't see, the forest from the tree. They were just blinded by the Benjamins, But now probably they're looking at it and say, we're not going to get dividends. We should have taken Sheikh Yassim's bid, right? Sheikh Yassim's bid was the best for the overall Arching fans, right? Clearing the debt, building a new stadium, pumping in everything. We would never be in this situation, but here we are stuck, mate. We are, definitely. Stephanie Griffith, big up, one of our loyal moderators. Media will always make us stuff off regardless of what. Yeah, 100%, right. As I said, it was dry hump day, but now we're finally playing some football. People need to get used to the fact that the Glazers Ineos are going to be apart from this club. They're going to be here for a while. Yeah, I agree with you saying, like, definitely. But the protest doesn't need to stop. The protest stopped all of a sudden because all of a sudden everyone was getting on the joyride, like, come on, join the joyride. They basically put a narrative in the media that Ineos are the new owners, because they're not the new owners, right? It was just a deflection, because that meant that Glazers can just take off the heat from the Glazers. They can just sit in the background. And apparently this cut costs is all what the Glazers wanted to do, right? I don't know. They're just professional janitor and contractors trying to fix the situation. But we have to sort of look at it from, I'd rather let them do the cut costs and everything else than getting actually put in an administration. You know what I mean? Bankruptcy. But if we go in bankruptcy, that means that, it will be an open auction, similar to what happened to Chelsea with Todd Bowley. But we then may get some like financial institutions that just being worse owners, right? We want owners that cares about the club. Big up for Abramovich. He actually loved the club and he did everything, but they forced him out. If there was these sanctions and everything else, like, what I mean. Welsh Girl 68, big up. Long time not seen. Good morning. Glazers out, Ineos out. I want the Qatar, and I got this. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Welsh Girl. What have they done to a club? They're destroying everything good about our club. Yeah, I mean, on that notion, I agree. But I am kind of a person that I look at 360 degrees. I look at two sides of it. From a business perspective, it's necessary needs what needs to be done, right? You need to sort of trim down the fat, If you're building a rocket ship and going to fly to the moon, you got to optimize it to get there faster. And this is what they're trying to do. Basically fixing up the fucking mistakes from the Glazers, right? And that means that it's overinflated staff. People are going to lose the job. You've seen it all, right? Increasing the ticketing price. What good is going to make? Of course, building a stadium is not going to happen for years. I mean, I think that when Ineos walked in and did a strategic review, they didn't expect it to be this big, but they also messed up in the middle of the year by not sacking Ten Hag and chasing Dan Ashworth and sacking Dan Ashworth. And, it's a mess, Welsh Girl. I agree. Stephanie Griffith is saying Glazers out, Ineos now. Sorry, we said that. Ideally, what Stephanie is saying, integrate this youngster from the bench and then minutes and end the game where they are comfortably winning. The problem is we don't do that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Now, that's why I keep saying, I keep repeating myself, but treat this remaining of the Premier League season to integrate. Let's face it, we will not reach top 4, so that is gone. We should focus on winning the Europa League and the FA Cup. Yeah, we can still do that. The road path for who we might meet might be Real Sociedad or Alkmaar, a Dutch club, right? So it's a winnable games, but Real Sociedad, we struggle against them. They're good. Alkmaar is another Dutch team. So that seems to be our next opponent, right? So go all in. If you play Texas Hold'em, go all in Europa League and we'll be good, right? But play, integrate the team and then have the youngsters, and then have the summer sort of to have a long preseason tour and all that stuff, and you be ready. Definitely be ready. And let's see, George Vokalic, Mick, Ineos are to blame keeping the Glazers in, and the debt are 60 million year on year. That they even done a record-breaking loss on 300 million, mate. So yeah, it is a shambolic. Yeah, it was a mistake, right? It was a mistake. I think that for Ratcliffe, it was a sort of a hard-on, like he popped the Viagra 1 or 2, call it vanity. He want to be the savior. He want to be sort of raise the statue when he died, that I was the one to put Manchester United back on the winning path. They will raise the statue, but he ain't working at the moment, right? Because Ineos cannot just pump in the money, on 27% ownership. There's certain things, and why would you clear somebody else's debt? Doesn't really make sense. Boxing Strengths UK saying cutting 3 to 4 million pounds per year in staff wages will not do as much. No, it won't make a dent, 100%. But if you look at the FFP and PSR, that is just not all about the players' wages. It's including the overarching staff wages within the club, right? That is also included in FFP. You know what I mean? So cutting that out will absolutely, decrease the burden. I want to talk about the striker situation, guys. Let's switch that on, because there was currently reports to say that Man United are in advanced talk with Victor Osihmen, and also there was a report from Laurie Whitwell to say that Man United would most likely not go for Victor Gyökeres because of his 27 age profile. They think he's too old. And further down, if you read the Athletic report, to say that the Man United has compared Victor Gyökeres to Rasmus Højlund profile, and they find that the reports are quite similar, and therefore they're not. So they're utilizing another excuse to say that Gyökeres rather would choose a club to play Champions League football. For me, that sounds like a lot of excuse, and another thing that we want not play spending money. I just keep saying, well, what about the return on investment, guys? Yeah, you can look at the cost, what it will take, like 60, 70 million quid. But the return on investment, and to say 27 year of age, for fuck's sake, we need a more experienced striker. We all know that. And then you go 1 year down below, you get a Victor Osihmen who is 26. So for me, that is kind of a little bit of what are you talking about, right? So the return on investment, if you look at Gyökeres, right? Golden Boot winner, scoring bagging 46 goals last season and still scoring goals. Knows Ruben Amorin's system, will hit the ground running straight away. I think it's a lot of BS deflection that the club is saying, putting out fillers that, we're not going to have the money. On the other hand, they're talking about Victor Osihmen being the prime target. Maybe they're utilizing the Osihmen story to sort of pressure Sporting Lisbon to get Gyökeres. But you know what? If you choose between Osihmen or a Gyökeres, I mean, both of them are equally good. I mean, Osihmen would suit us much, much better as a striker. If you look at, if we're going to bring in youngsters, they definitely need to have somebody to look up to, and that they can learn and they can push each other in training. At the moment, what we have is the oldest of them all is Xerxes. He's 23. Then you have Rasmus, 22. They don't have anyone to learn from, right? In training. They're the most senior and just clueless at the moment. And you go Premier League proven. So what about Liam Delap, which we've been linked to? What about that one? What's your thoughts on Liam Delap? A kid that had one good season and all of a sudden being hyped for 40 million. I mean, all of a sudden, I don't know. Should we pay 40 million for that one, or should we just add on an extra 20 to get a Osihmen, to get a Gyökeres, right? So yeah, you can pay. This is another youngster to pay 40 million. Then I rather pay extra 20 to get a more experienced striker, and that can guarantee you goals, right? Yeah, sure, it's going to be a little bit of a teething problem in the beginning, but who doesn't, right? Who doesn't? But what do you think? What do you think? Let me know. Who would you pick? Who would you pick? Should I create a poll? I don't know, man. I don't think. I mean, of course, he's a talent, like Liam Delap, But having one good season at Ipswich doesn't make a whole summer, It doesn't. And of course, Premier League tax is always there, you know what I mean? Now, I'd rather go for, Gyökeres or Osihmen. If you ask me if it was possible, yeah, whoever will hit the ground running faster. Like you look at Gyökeres has Premier League, he's Premier League proven and played the Championship as well. So plus he understands Ruben Amorin's system. But the notion to come out to report to the Athletic, to Laurie Whitwell, must be something leaked out from the club to say, nah, he's 27, too old. Nah, you know what I mean? And then put Osihmen as prime target. Could it be? Could it be? Because there was a lot of talks regarding Osihmen who is currently on loan at Galatasaray, and is definitely not welcome to come back to Italy. Could it be that Man United already had something in place for the summer? It's normal in football that you make pre-agreements. You can strike an agreement in the January window for the summer. Apparently, if you believe Ebola reports from Portugal, if you believe what you're seeing, that there is already a pre-agreement made for no other than Quenda. Yeah. Man United could have agreed a deal to say that, yes, we agree a pre-agreement here. You will come in the summer and we will do the deal in installments, amortization. 100%, you secured your targets already. You could also go into Osihmen and the camp and say, yes, we want you, but not here in January alone. We saw that we refused to do a loan deal for Matthias Tell. So they could have done already, secure that target to say, yes, we will do that on amortization, meaning we're doing in 3 to 4 installment plans. But that's just speculations. But, you know, there's a lot of reports coming out to say that Man United are already having like an agreements in place. You know what I mean? So there was some tweet coming out yesterday that was from, yeah, let's start with this one, right? Let's start with this one. This is Laurie Whitwell. It's quite credible. You know what I was talking about. It's unlikely Man United will sign Victor Gyökeres. He wants to join Champions League team, and United will be reluctant to commit big money to a player who will turn 27 in June. But that's not old, man. 27 in June. You can still get 6 more years out of him. The club's strategy is to invest in younger signings. Is that why we're all of a sudden seeing the lips? Is that why? I wonder. I don't know. Let me know. Or is this why we're seeing the fast track of Chido Obi-Martin? Is it? I don't know, man. On the other hand, as well, we were also linked to say that, look, at the end of the day, Osihmen is the prime target as well, apparently, if you believe what has been said here, according to Dean Jones Soccer. You know, Dean Jones Soccer come out to say Manchester United are plotting a summer bid for Victor Osihmen and have begun making plans to hold negotiations over the transfer. Members of United hierarchy, including Ruben Amorin, have pinpointed him as a key signing. So that means that Gyökeres is apparently off the table. We know, if we go back in timeline, Ruben promised Sporting Lisbon that he will not rinse Sporting on their players. He could take one player. It could either be Quenda or Gyökeres. Apparently, he chose Quenda because that position is more vital for his 3-4-3 system, right? We have a left wing back, but we're missing a right wing back, and that is the missing arching puzzle. Now we need a cream of the crop, creme de la creme, a striker. So I will certainly believe, in my opinion, that this has more legs and this is more credible than actually Gyökeres. I believe that Gyökeres is out of the table, but we will see, man. We will see. But what's your thoughts and feelings regarding this? You know what I mean? Do you rather take Osihmen, or would you still believe that Gyökeres can come? Let me know in the comment section. What worries me about Gyökeres is 3 seasons in Coventry, and he scored 41 league goals and 119 appearances. Is Portugal easier than Championship? Is that reality? Well, he also scored in the, he's also keeps banging goals in the Champions League as well, mate. And that was back then. But the catalyst was actually Ruben Amorin that sort of, made it. He made him, right? But who's to say that Osihmen will flop in the Premier League too? This is also a total different league, Players struggle because they're not used to the intensity, Okay, Spanish league is more technical. Italian league is more tactical, of course. And then you come to Premier League. It's like rock and roll football, pedal to the metal, up and down, up and down. You don't have much time to think. You got to be quick, fast, right? And that's why we need intensity players. Now, okay, well, we will see, man. Beggars cannot be choosers, guys. Beggars cannot be choosers. I definitely will go with Osihmen in that case, if that was the case. But back to the main story, guys, regarding, Chido. He doesn't want to be called Martin anymore. He removed Martin. But back to the story, guys. I made a poll, and I want to sort of check the poll because I said, do you think that Chido Obi-Martin is ready for first team football? And the results are, ta-da, drum roll, 86% of you says yes. 86 says yes, and the poll. So you believe. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you for participating in that vote, peeps. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure for you to engage this morning. Big up, Arman. Big up to you as well. Good morning. Boxing Strengths Talk saying Osihmen is banging in goals in everywhere. What worries me about Osihmen is why do Napoli want him? It's strange. Well, it has to do, I don't know, man. It had something to do with the racial comments and stuff like that. I can't really remember what it was. I can't remember. But I think that Conte doesn't want him. He doesn't favor him. He doesn't really want him. There's something a fallout, right? It's not welcome. The same thing with Lukaku that was also yapping off, yeah, I think. But I don't care, And Chido Obi-Martin, Danish, but also Nigerian roots. Yeah. It comes down to, again, with this player, Obi-Martin. Yeah. This is the themes of today. You're good enough, you're old enough, and 83% of you said yes, he's ready for first team football. It comes down to freaks of nature. Like once in a blue moon, the nature produces these kind of specimens, right? Doesn't come around often, these super talents, right? He's 190 tall, 188. He looks like he's a 17-year-old in a 27-year-old full-ass grown man's body, right? You have players like Quanda, 17. You have Yamal, Barcelona, ripping up trees. You have Diego Leon as well, another specimen, freak of nature. So what is this to say that just because you're 17, you're not good enough, right? But the overarching thing is that we don't want to see a burnout. We don't want to see a Kobe Mainoo burnout. We don't want to see a Garnacho burnout. We don't want to see the desperation slowly embed them in. And that is my point, guys. That is my point. And I think that most of you in this VR room also agree. Anyway, guys, we're going to talk a little bit later on as well because we're going to cover Ruben Amorin's press conference later on today. So we will be back a little bit later. But thank you so much for tuning in. We had a conversation. We spoke about the Glazers, the PSR, the changes, the way we see, how we can potentially integrate the youth. And as per usual, guys, leave your comment because I like to read your comments. The more the merrier. And also don't forget to like that video because YouTube algorithm likes your thumbs. Anyway, we're back a little bit later on for the Ruben Amorin live presser. Until then, beautiful people, see you and stay beautiful. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Release TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.